1:36 on TSN 690. Welcome back to a late edition of Game Points with Matthew Ross. We're here till the top of the hour. TSN Matthew on Twitter.com is the is the Twitter address. Matthew at TSN690.ca is the email address. Time to check in with the West Coast. We go to a gentleman who can be followed on Twitter.com/Mayor NHL. You can also check out the website at mayorsmanor.com. We welcome back to the show Mr. John Hoven. Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on.
No, John. Thank you.
Well, it's good to be back.
Well, good to have you back. All right, let's talk some hockey here. Hey, John, 0-2 Kings. What's happening there?
Well, all the good fortunes of last year, which namely came in the form of good health, especially on the Kings blue line, is coming back to bite them now. Willie Mitchell started the year, not on the roster, and then Matt Green went out. And he's gonna, just the other day, and he's going to miss the next maybe 8 weeks with the back injury. So suffering on the blue line, and up front, Kopitar was back in the lineup tonight, but he didn't produce any shots, and he was uncharacteristically below 50% in the faceoff circle. So when your top center's not going, and when you're missing one of your key defensemen and a guy like Willie Mitchell, no matter how good Jonathan Quick is between the pipes, it's going to be a rough night. And yeah, you're right, 0-2 so far, and things aren't going to get any easier on Thursday going into Edmonton, playing against a young, skilled team with a lot of speed.
In terms of Jonathan Quick coming off the injury, how's he looking?
Quick looked much better tonight than he did in the first game. For those that don't know, he did come off of back surgery over the summer. If the season had started on time, he wouldn't be ready to go, or would not have been ready to go, in October. So, that was seen as one of the benefits of the lockout, if there is one, at least for LA, that Quick was ready to go. He had been practicing, especially over the last 6 weeks coming into training camp, and he seemed ready to go. Normally...
Well, not for Bernier. Bernier's probably thinking, crap, that's my luck.
Well, yeah, that is kind of Bernier's luck also, because we know that Coach Darryl Sutter likes to rely heavily on his number one goaltender, and he was asked, about the usage of Quick in a 48-game season, and when he remarked possibly 90 to 100%, yeah, that had to be even more concerning for a guy like Bernier who wants a trade out of town, and in order to get traded, he probably needs to be played so that people can get a better read on him. But Quick I didn't think was tracking the puck very well in the Chicago game on Saturday, even though he said after the game he was having no problem seeing the puck. There were at least 2 goals that he would have easily had last year. So tonight he looked much better.
All right, chatting with John Hoven from mayorsmanor.com as we talk some NHL here on the program. John, you watched the Blackhawks. That's my pick to win the Stanley Cup this year. How did they look to you in Game 1?
Well, Chicago certainly, they were on the receiving end, or on the other end of things, I should say, a couple of years ago after winning the Cup and doing the banner-raising ceremony and having to deal with the hangover from the emotions of the pregame. They sat in the locker room this time around at Staples Center while the Kings did their thing, and they came out firing, and Marian Hossa looks like he's more than ready to go. That was one of the concerns for them coming in to the season, and he looked real sharp in Game 1, and they're on a roll right now. So the Blackhawks do look tough here in the early going. Every game is so much more important in a 48-game season, so it's not the same old, well, after a few games they look good. No, they're looking really good right out of the gate.
Yeah, the big question with them has been goaltending, and Corey Crawford. Some are high on him, some aren't. Was he good off the bat in Game 1?
I don't recall off the top of my head any really big particular save where I was overly impressed. But Crawford, from what I've seen of him, he's not really that type of spectacular goalie that's going to make a lot of the big saves. He's more of a workman-like goalie. Not that he's not capable of making the big saves, but very few Blackhawks games, I think you come away talking about Crawford at least doing something good. People love to pick his game apart when he does something bad, but normally when the Blackhawks are going well and you're talking about Chicago, you're talking about Taves and Patrick Kane and Hossa and, Duncan Keith and Patrick Sharp and those kind of guys.
John, you watched the Avalanche tonight. That's a young team with a lot of firepower, or at least a lot of potential. And you saw a 20-year-old captain, Gabriel Landeskog, leading by example tonight, scoring a goal. Is this a team you expect to be in the playoff hunt this year after falling off for the last couple of years?
they're right there. They're a bubble team. And when a lot of people ask about, well, is Minnesota going to get in the playoffs? Is Edmonton going to get in the playoffs? Or what about the Colorado Avalanche? The first question I always ask is, it's not about whether those teams are going to get in. Talk to me and tell me which teams are going to fall out. And that really is where the more interesting debate comes, I think. Detroit, every year they're predicted to take a step backwards. This looks like it's finally going to be the year because they're in somewhat of a transition. And whenever you lose a guy like Nicky Lidstrom, you're going to take a step back. There's no denying that. San Jose is, their window is probably closing. Are they going to fall out? The Phoenix Coyotes don't have the offense probably necessary to make the playoffs, although you never count out a Dave Tippett team. If those type of teams take a step back, then there is an opening, and a Colorado Avalanche team, could certainly jump in there. They have a lot of firepower, and I was a little surprised. You mentioned the captaincy going to Landeskog. Most, I think, probably thought that it would be Duchesne. So that was a little bit of a surprise move by Coach Joe Sacco, maybe.
Yeah, what a luxury to choose between young leaders like that, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The other question, obviously, about the Avalanche is in nets, where Semyon Varlamov was acquired, and early on last year he kind of struggled. He gets the win tonight. Is he a guy, in your estimation, you think that they can ride maybe for a playoff hunt?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far, he would be able to take them in the playoffs, because to go deep in the playoffs, you're going to need more than just great goaltending. They certainly have what's needed to get in the playoffs, and what they can do from there, I think we really don't know, and we won't know until later in the year to see if they really can develop some confidence and have a couple of key go-to guys besides Duchesne, besides Landeskog we talked about there. They brought over PA, and he's in there now. What's going to happen with O'Reilly? They could have enough talent around him to maybe go, a round or two, but we'll have to see how their confidence develops. Young teams can be very fragile, and that's something to keep an eye on, not only in Colorado, but I think in Edmonton as well.
He is John Hoven. You can read him on mayorsmanor.com. You can also follow him on Mayor NHL. John, I'm curious, just from a personal level, where did the whole mayor thing come from?
Just from being around the team and knowing pretty much everybody around the team in Los Angeles and so many different characters, people just started referring to me as the mayor, and it kind of spread like wildfire. That was back about 15 years ago. So the nickname was around long before the website ever existed. Someone asked me the other day, they thought that maybe it was just a marketing gimmick, and I said no, that was the nickname for probably a decade before the website ever existed. So the name Mayor's Manor was just an extension of the nickname the Mayor.
Now, what about the? I understand congratulations is in order in terms of Yahoo bestowing a title on your site.
Yeah, things have been going really well over the last 6 months or so. I would say in September we were voted the best sports blog in Los Angeles, and in a town like LA, that's a real accomplishment, because you have the Lakers, of course, and the Dodgers, and all of their championships and their large following. So for a hockey website to become the best website in Los Angeles was phenomenal, and then that was capped off with Yahoo Puck Daddy naming us the 2012 Hockey Blog of the Year. So that's fantastic. And just this week, everything was signed, sealed, and delivered for me to be part of the Professional Hockey Writers Association as well. So
congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, so things are trucking right along here in Los Angeles. Now, if the Kings can just get a couple wins under their belt, it would be a lot more fun to write about.
I was going to say, John, with the Mayor's Manor nicknames like Cosmo, Kramer, and Seinfeld, right? Wherever he goes, hey, Cosmo, how you been? You're the mayor of L.A.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Sometimes when I'm not in hockey mode and somebody sees me, at a concert or something, and they scream out Mayor, I'm not really paying attention because I'm not prepared to respond to that. And people think I'm ignoring them. That's not really what it is. It's just that for some reason, when I'm around the rink or something, I go into hockey mode. But if I'm out watching some music, I'm not expecting to be called Mayor. So it's all good, though.
Hey, John, we appreciate having you on, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
All right, appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
All right, there you go. That's John Hoven of mayorsmanor.com. You can follow him on Mayor NHL on twitter.com. 1:45 here on TSN 690, other side of the break. Final segment of the show, and the topic, only Mo Khan knows. Stay tuned.